Welcome to Timeless Sparks, your home for exploring the stories, legends, and ideas that have shaped our world and still inspire us today. Here, we don't just recount history, we uncover the timeless sparks that continue to light our imaginations and speak to who we are. In today's journey, we're diving into the myth and legacy of one of history's most enduring heroes, Achilles. From ancient epic poetry to blockbuster Hollywood adaptations, Achilles has been interpreted in countless ways. Some see him as a noble warrior, others as a deeply flawed man, and yet others as an archetype of our own emotional battles. His story is more than ancient history. It's a mirror reflecting our ever-changing ideas of heroism, humanity, and perhaps most importantly, ourselves. So let's step into that mirror and uncover how Achilles has evolved across the ages. Because despite the thousands of years that have passed since his name first echoed across the battlefields of Troy, one thing remains true. Achilles' story is still very much alive. Achilles. The name alone conjures an image, a warrior who is peerless on the battlefield, destined for greatness, yet doomed by a single, fatal flaw. For millennia, his myth has resonated across cultures, whispering truths about bravery, love, rage, and mortality. It's no wonder his story remains one of the most retold epics in human history. From Homer's Iliad to modern media, Achilles has been many things: a symbol of strength, a portrait of vulnerability, and even, in some cases, a study in the dangerous lure of power. And nowhere has this evolution been more apparent than in his portrayal on film. Let's start with the golden age of Hollywood, a time of grand cinematic epics, larger-than-life heroes, and heroic battles on a scale that could rival the gods. In the mid-20th century, films like Helen of Troy, 1956, and the Trojan Horse, 1961, brought Achilles to the silver screen. These movies came at a time when society craved heroes who were unabashedly heroic. In these portrayals, Achilles was the ultimate warrior, noble, brave, and virtually untouchable. His strength was not just physical, but moral. He rarely faltered, rarely doubted, and certainly never hesitated in the face of danger. Why was this version of Achilles so popular at the time? Well, consider the backdrop. The post-World War II world was grappling with a newfound need for unity and clear ideals. Film heroes were meant to inspire, to serve as beacons of courage and honor, and Achilles fit the bill perfectly. On screen, he wasn't just a man, he was almost a god, embodying the unwavering ideals of strength and valor, a hero to aspire to. But times change, and so do the heroes we admire. Fast forward to the early 2000s, a time of introspection, complexity, and in many ways, cynicism. Here, a new Achilles emerged, one who matched the uncertainty of the modern world. Enter Troy, 2004, directed by Wolfgang Peterson and starring Brad Pitt as the iconic warrior. This Achilles was nothing like the golden figure of earlier decades. He was flawed. He was tempestuous. Yes, he was still one of the greatest warriors ever to grace the battlefield, but his motivations were far more complex. He wasn't just fighting for honor. He was driven by pride, rage, and a desperate fear of his own mortality. Let's pause and think about that for a moment. This Achilles wasn't a hero to idolize. He was a reflection, a mirror showing us the contradictions of our own humanity. He could be cruel and reckless, but he was also capable of love, loyalty, and heartbreaking vulnerability. His struggles reflected the battles we all fight within ourselves, the search for meaning, the weight of pride, and the inevitability of loss. It's no accident that this Achilles arrived when he did. The early 2000s were marked by societal uncertainty, global conflicts, and increasing awareness of the complexity of human nature. We wanted stories that didn't shy away from the messy, troubling questions. Was Achilles a hero, a villain, or just a man, like the rest of us, caught in the tangle of his own humanity? More recent adaptations like The Fall of Troy, 2018, and even video games such as Hades, 2020, have taken this Achilles even further. They turn their focus to the cost of war, the emotional weight of his choices, and the relationships that define him. While earlier portrayals showcased Achilles as a larger-than-life figure, these modern versions emphasize his vulnerability. We see not just the warrior, but the human being. The man who grieves for his friend Patroclus, who clashes with Agamemnon not out of duty, but out of personal conviction, and who ultimately struggles to reconcile his thirst for glory with the finite nature of his own life. It's fascinating, isn't it? With each retelling, we come closer to the raw, emotional core of Achilles' story. He may be a figure of myth, but his struggles feel strikingly real. His story endures because it isn't just about one man or one era. It's about all of us. His story endures because it isn't just about one man or one era. It's about all of us. So what is it that keeps us coming back to Achilles, generation after generation? Maybe it's because in Achilles, we see a reflection of ourselves, his pride, his flaws, his love, his rage. These are universal emotions. They're timeless. And his tragic end, destined by prophecy yet shaped by his own choices, speaks to the delicate dance between fate and free will that every human being wrestles with. Achilles reminds us that greatness comes at a cost, that even the strongest among us are vulnerable, and that in the end, it is not our invincibility, but our humanity that defines us. In the hands of Hollywood, Achilles' story has transformed countless times. But whether he's the flawless hero of the 1950s or the multi-layered, haunted figure of the 21st century, one thing remains constant: his capacity to inspire, challenge, and teach us. And so, the legend of Achilles lives on, not just in the pages of the Iliad, but in films, shows, books, and games. Every retelling adds a new layer to his story, just as every generation discovers something new about itself in his myth. What does it mean to be a hero? To love and to lose, to fight for something greater than yourself? Achilles' story doesn't just ask these questions. It helps us wrestle with the answers. Achilles reminds us that greatness comes at a cost, that even the strongest among us are vulnerable, and that in the end, it is not our invincibility, but our humanity that defines us. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. If this exploration of Achilles sparked something in you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Timeless Sparks, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the stories that make us who we are. And now, we want to hear from you. Which version of Achilles resonates the most with you? Is it the noble warrior of the Golden Age, the complex anti-hero of modern cinema, or perhaps the deeply human Achilles of recent interpretations? Drop a comment below and join the conversation. Because here, at Timeless Sparks, the past is never just history. It's alive,